Alright guys, game week 2, only last week it just took off and we've already got some banging games coming up this weekend. This means you're going to want to watch the whole entire video for some shocks, laughs and statistics. So without further ado, let's get into this. Into our first game of the week, and it is Aston Villa playing at home against Everton. Now Villa shockingly, and I mean shockingly, yes, lost to Bournemouth 2-0. A very, very bad Bournemouth side. But the inconsistency, I mean, I was talking about it last weekend, the inconsistency means anything can happen. Everton, they actually started really strong against the Chelsea game. I watched the full 90 minutes and they were actually pretty balanced with Chelsea, only losing 1-0 from a penalty. Now for the Villa, Leon Bailey in particular is a player I've really admired, and it seems in pre-season he was scoring every single match. So I think that he is, a bit of a new signing. He sort of counts as a new signing this season because obviously last season he was riddled with injuries, and I actually think he's going to get a goal today, and I'm actually going to say 1-1. But I think Everton will be the better team, confirmed. But their issue is defensively, they're really, really, really solid. But going forward, they don't have enough firepower, and that's why I think the only man to score or even have a really good chance will be Anthony Gordon. On to Southampton playing at home against Leeds, and you guys know I'm a massive fan of the Leeds manager, the Leeds play style, the Leeds players, everything about Leeds I just love. But even if I don't put that in account, I genuinely believe Leeds could thrash the Saints. Southampton literally turned into a Spurs punching bag, losing 4-1 the other day, and I mean, they usually do come back from bad losses. You guys remember when they lose 9-0, they usually do sort of have a patch of good form after, so you never know, they could probably get the 3 points in this game. I mean, they definitely could, but I just think Leeds have the better players and the better manager. I'm a massive fan of the new Saints signing, Joe Aribo, the most versatile man in Scotland, and I reckon he'll start, so you guys will get a new feel for the Nigerian. 2-1 to Leeds with Rodrigo getting both the assists. I mean, Rodrigo was very good in pre-season. He got a hat-trick, so maybe this sort of year could be his year. On to Arsenal playing at home against Leicester. Now, Arsenal started very strong with a 2-0 win versus Crystal Palace. On the other hand, Leicester, they bottled a 2-0 lead at half-time against Brentford to end the match 2-2. Maybe it's an issue that their players aren't fit enough, I don't know. One player for the Gunners, which I really do admire, is Saliba. As a centre-back myself, I tried to analyse all the players in-game, and this guy just makes perfect decisions. He had some great clearances, strong tackles, and I mean, if he continues playing like this, he is definitely making Ben White play at right back. The Foxes, they just look so soulless, and I can see them being messed about like a 4-foot man in a nightclub. 3-0 to Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus will be bullying that Leicester defence. On to Brighton playing at home against Newcastle. Now, I actually reckon these are the two teams that are the strongest outside the top 7. Newcastle, they just keep on winning. They literally do not stop winning, and they found a sort of defensive stability under Eddie Howe. Brighton, they somehow bruised my ego even more, beating United 2-1 the other day, and it wasn't how the scoreline told you. They were dominant. Somehow they lost their 2 strongest players, but I didn't even notice in the match. Fabian Schär on game week 1 did a Chalobah and scored an absolute banger, and I think it's going to be really hard for Botman to get into the starting 11 unless they are playing a back 3, which I actually think they might do, because Trippier and Matt Targett, they are sort of more attacking left back and right backs. I'm going to say 1-0 to Newcastle for the reason that at the moment I think Newcastle are better than Brighton in both quality, like players like St. Maximin, Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Linton, and I just think that will have the edge over them. On to Man City playing at home against Bournemouth. It's all Bournemouth. They're second in the table. Yeah, that's definitely not going to last. I need to make an apology. On the Macca Football channel, we do advise not to make stupid opinions, and guess what I just did? I said that Haaland wouldn't get over 12 goals. This was a video about a month ago, and it did really, really well, and I didn't really get any backlash from it, but I still remember it. And the man's just gone out, scored 2 goals in game week 1. He's going to be an absolute menace, isn't he? One rule I did want to talk about was the new 5-sub rule, and I think genuinely this is the most important new rule there is this season, because I think, it gives the edge for bigger teams, bigger clubs, more expensive clubs, and sort of the lower clubs in the table, they're going to really struggle with not having any quality on the bench to bring on. And I think that 5 sub rule, along with Haaland, will actually win it. Haaland will score a hat-trick to make the game 4-2. On to Wolves, playing at home against Fulham now. Last week I actually saw a Fulham side that makes me question whether they're actually going to get relegated, obviously drawing 2-2 with a great Liverpool. And players like Pereira, you know, they're pressuring, their electricity symbolises a no back down attitude, and especially Mitrovic's hold up play was definitely Lewandowski-esque. Saying that, you know, these smaller teams, it's the Premier League, they usually do have some like crazy games where they play very well, so I'm not sure whether we're going to see this Fulham once again, but Wolves is a much worse team to Liverpool, so you never know. And also, something about Wolves, I used to love them. You guys will know if you watched my game week predictions last season. I was like, Wolves this, Wolves that. I love Wolves, I love Bruno Lage, I love Jose Sarr. No, they're just a boring club now. Ever since late last season, their play style became boring. They started conceding goals. Saying that, I'll say they'll actually play better than Liverpool against Fulham, and I'm going to say for Pedro Neto and Daniel Podence to really carry the squad. 1-1, boring but balanced, and the game will feature some very good chances. On to Brentford, playing at home against Manchester United. Now Ericsson actually left the Bees to join quote unquote a bigger club. That's not so much the case anymore, is it? At the moment, we're as small as Hasbulla, mate, and he's pretty small. Brentford drew with Leicester 2-2, and what does impress me is the comeback, and I'm really scared for a player like Ivan Toney. I think he could bully, you know, a Martinez or a Maguire. If I could give the United board just one piece of advice, you know what I'd say? Buy some good players. I don't want Adrian Rabiot. It's an embarrassment that we got linked to a 33-year-old Arnautovic. 7 years ago he was ripping it up for Stoke. That was 7 years ago, and he still wasn't good enough to play for us back then. 2-1 United. At the end of the day, I have to back my team, and I think Ronaldo will save us. I can't see him starting. I just don't know why. I don't think Ten Hag likes him, but I think he'll get a goal in the second half to save us. On to Nottingham Forest versus West Ham. Though both teams, they lost the other day, of course, West Ham to City and Nottingham Forest to who was it? It was 2-0 against Newcastle, wasn't it? For me, in my opinion, I reckon West Ham will have the much better chances, especially with the new signing Scamacca, and there are a couple other players like Maxwell Cornet coming through the doors. So I think they'll have better chances and the bigger chances. 2-0 to the Irons with Bowen, man of the match with a goal and assist. The next Ronaldo. On to Chelsea, playing at home against Spurs. A London derby, you may call this, but no matter what, winning the big early games is a must. Because late in the season, when you're going to need points to go over your rival, at Chelsea or Spurs it could be, those points are going to matter. The Conte era has started at Tottenham Hotspur with a 4-1 battering over Southampton, and I mean, this symbolises every attacker wants to get in the action. For Chelsea though, it's a little bit different. I wasn't seeing a very good Chelsea side. You know, they got saved by a penalty, and you know, for me, I think their attackers are really lacking creativity. Other than Sterling and Mason Mount, I can't see any attackers this season getting over 10 goals. 3-1 to Spurs. I just think Chelsea need goals because Spurs, they just come out all guns blazing. And if you can't back yourself up with goals and defensive ability, then you won't be able to win against them. On to Liverpool, playing at home against Palace. Now, Liverpool actually beat Palace 2-0 in pre-season, but then again, I mean, they lost to United 4-0, so I would not trust these Uzbekistan Cups. I'm a massive fan of the likes of Eze, you know, Zaha, Cheikh Doucouré, Mark Guehi, but I do think that the squad as a whole does need to gel a bit better. I know there's not been a load of incomings, but I think, you know, they're missing a bit of squad chemistry. One player who I think could help that is Michael Elise. I love the guy. And, you know, I think when he played against City last season, he absolutely battered them. This man is made for big games. So if you're going to play Liverpool, play Elise. The Reds looked a shadow of themselves against Fulham, but Klopp's a top-level elite manager. He won't make the same mistake again, so I think they're definitely going to win. 1-0 to Liverpool, but Thiago being out, Oxlade-Chamberlain being out, Keita being out, it's going to be a big miss, so it's going to be quite intriguing to see how the midfielders sort of deal with having to play on a consistent basis. Cheers for watching, lads. Please click on the channel, subscribe. If you like the video, then like the video. Comment down below. I would really want to get you guys in the comments. Tell me what you think about some of the games, and yeah, have a great day.